actually got formally recognized as a 2.5 dimension. So
It's so strange, Shakes, that the 2.5 dimension.
2021, apparently, the dumpster battle.
Dumpster battle. Wait, there's no singing or dancing.
Bonus! And bring out your glow sticks.
We'll just call you Cathy Moon from this moment onwards.
Hey!
Hi, podcast kittens. It's your flashy fashion reporter, Cathy Cat. Today I'm here with...
Ladybeard.
And today we're going to do a podcast about anime, manga, music, and games.
Maybe we don't do it like that. Oh my god. Anyways, hi guys, it's Cathy Cat
And Ladybeard with another Had the Introduction You Had Planned Changed by Cathy Cat installment of
Cat with Beard.
Tell us what's happening, Cathy Cat.
Well, today we're going to talk about everything about anime and game musicals and theater in Japan. So anime and games brought to life through performance, also called 2.5D.
That's right. It's like so we're here in as three-dimensional objects, and of course anime would be two-dimensional animation. So the second and a half dimension is anime
2.5.
things and game things coming into the real world. 2.5 dimensional.
Yeah, so it's not quite just real. It's that in-between area between the anime and like real life, just in between there to catch the hearts of all the otakus.
I love the second and a half world. The second and a half dimension.
2.5 dimension, exactly. So that's musicals and stage plays and such, cosplay-centric performances, and also like whole troops that go together, voice actors who do live readings or performance or dancing and similar like that, and AR performances are included in that as well.
AR performances, that's interesting.
So lots of that.
So tell us how this came to be, Cathy Cat. How did the bizarre world of the 2.5 dimension contents, anime musicals, game musicals, how did they come to exist?
Well, one of the legends, and that's why I'm really passionate about this topic, is actually the original Sailor Moon musical.
Yeah.
So it was not just Sailor Moon on the anime. They first started as a small group singing and dancing, and then they actually evolved it and it turned into full-fledged musicals. They went through all of the seasons, and then, you know, they had like special performances here, there, and everywhere. It was legendary, and that's what I watched when I was a small little Cathy Cat, and then I joined, for example, in Germany, a German Sailor Moon troupe, and we started singing and dancing as well, inspired by that.
So whatever you did there when we opened the show, was that somehow related
No,
to...
I tried to just put on some sort of other voice because I thought it might be different as a start. Need from time to time get you off your, toes.
It was unexpected.
Put you on your
said
toes.
You put me on my heels. Get the cat with the back foot.
Exactly. And that Sailor Moon musical, it started in 1993. So it's one of the earliest and most influential examples, but it's continued. So literally they went through all the seasons that did it again. It was like generations of Sailor Moon. And then they stopped for a while and then they brought the musicals back. So I had the chance when I came to Japan, one of the best moments ever, to actually see the Sailor Moon musical again. And the performance is amazing. People really putting so much effort into looking like the deal, looking like the characters, acting like the characters. And then there's music, there's songs, there's performance, there's all kinds of dancing and stuff. So that makes it really good. And it still continues now. We're going to talk about that later. And that musical is actually now in a different version again, touring all across the world. So this is the boom is out, and you might have the chance to see any of those. So we're going to talk about more about that today.
That's right. So the Sailor Moon and the other classic one that got the whole trend going was the old Prince of Tennis.
Prince of Tennis has a very large female fan base. So Princess Tennis started having also a musical in 2003, and it blew up. So it's set another gold standard for hot boys doing dancing and performing, but actually they're talking about sports.
With tennis rackets.
Tennis rackets, of course. They have to be on stage.
40 love.
And then in the 2010s, it continues. So it became a huge boom. We had Token Rambu, which is about swords. We had Yowamushi Pedal, which is about bicycles.
Boys on bikes, yeah.
Naruto Live.
Naruto.
That has a lot of
yeah.
action,
That looks
so
amazing,
that's very
actually.
popular.
Yep.
Haikyuu, that is about volleyball.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia. I mean, that's
We don't know
literally
what
about
that is.
become heroes, yes. And Demon Slayer and such. So any kind of very, very popular franchise, sooner or later, might get a 2.5 adaptation, such as, for example, Black Butler as well. That was one that was also partly very, very popular.
And a bunch of companies that specialized in anime and game and 2.5 dimensional musicals popped up, including Nelke Planning and Marvelous Inc.
So they actually got formally recognized as a 2.5 dimension. So
It's so strange, Shakes, that the 2.5 dimension.
Put my fifth
Two and a half dimension.
Yep. So in 2014, the Japan 2.5 Dimensional Musical Association was formed to support the industry and train actors.
So absurd. I love it.
And it's now we have international shows that reach Paris, New York, Shanghai, and other countries.
Yeah, they've done well for themselves.
Yeah, it's doing well. It's bringing the anime to the stages around the world.
100%.
So what makes it so unique?
Wow, what makes it unique is they bring the character from the anime to the stage. So it's not like when they do a Hollywood adaptation of a game into a movie when they're
is
like
completely different.
Well, we need to kind of base it on the game, but we'll change everything to make it into a Hollywood film. It's the game or the anime live on stage. It's the same.
If I would explain it, it's like it's not an actor wearing the cosplay of an anime character and still being them acting. It's you have to look like the character down to like a point. You have to look like them and you constantly have to act like them and don't break character. You are becoming the anime brought to life.
That's right. So lots of big elaborate wigs, accurate costumes. Accuracy is very important. You must
Accuracy is very important.
absolutely loyal and accurate with the that's incorrect grammar. It must be the same as the original source material.
Yeah.
Exaggerated expressions, projection mapping, which is very interesting. And then the eye contact with the audience must mimic that of the two-dimensional character.
So you're not supposed to break character. You have to look like a real deal and act like the real deal at all times.
So was like a normal human being would be, eye contact like this. You break eye contact. Sometimes you look around or what have you. You're not allowed to do any of that. It had to be
Stay in character.
or whatever he did in the original must be just like that.
I don't think there's a Dragon Ball musical just yet, but maybe that's a thing that's going to come soon.
Well, there should be.
Who knows? Performance, obviously, it often not. It can just be a theater, but it can also include singing and dancing, and it has to be dialogue that's true to the original anime, so it can't be out of character again. Anime fans and generally otakus are very serious about like things being in and out of character, so that's a really big one.
Very, very much
And
so.
again, we bring back the projection mappings for like, for example, attacks, like magical attacks or similar things like that, emotions, scenery transitions. And most recently for the musicals, when they go abroad, they will have in the background maybe the lyrics of the songs in English. So that's a new thing on the background. There will be then,
subtitle it,
yeah,
isn't it?
let's like some have subtitles and some almost have lyric videos.
Yes.
It will be like a lyric video. So you see the lyrics, but they're kind of like mopping about the screen. They're changing colors. They're like integrated in some sort of backdrop or something to make sure that an audience around the world understands the Japanese songs and Japanese lyrics.
That worked out great.
Yes. And there's also audience engagements in some of those.
Go. A bit of call and response. You did a bit of that. Idle-ish.
Idle-ish.
Happy time.
In the case of, for example, the Sailor Moon Super Live, which I went to watch in London, it was awesome. They have a whole plus alpha section. It was a little bit like when we were talking about Takarazuka, there's like a show and then there's a second show.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, now's the bonus part. Is why it's probably called Super Life. It's not just a musical, it's a Super Life. So then you're allowed to bring out glow sticks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there is like special glow sticks you can bring out and then you can like wave the glow sticks and sing along, and there's like bonus performances. They change their outfits a couple of times and they're yukata and then another outfit and another outfit. So you get like a full show after the show. So you first have the story and then just fun.
So I know you want to.
Yes.
Tell us about the Sailor Moon Super Live.
The Sailor Moon Super Live. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. So they literally, oh my god, if you start me now, I won't stop. But like the whole area in London where I went to, first of all, like just in the entrance hall, everything was LED. They had them like blown up really, really big everywhere. You could buy a lot of merch there, and again, including those glow sticks that you want to have for the performance. And they actually performed some songs. So they had their own storyline. It was the season 1. And the season 1, great job. All of the actors there were fantastic. They had special effects, kind of mechanical things that they used on stage, like lights and stuff they used for their advantage, because it's only the original 5 Sailor Senshis, not the whole cast, and then obviously the demons and the dancers and such. And then suddenly bonus! Bring out your glow sticks and you can sing along. For one of the later songs, you're allowed to film along. For the start, you're not allowed to film along, but you can later on, you can also film, which is rare for Japanese performances. And they go through their school uniform outfits, they go through their sailor outfits, they wear a yukata, and they even perform, and that made me cry, they performed one of the OG Sailor Moon first time 1990 kind of songs there. And I just thought they were never gonna, that's another generation, probably licensing wise. I thought they're not allowed to do that. They did that. I cried like a baby. Seeing that on stage I thought I was never gonna see that on stage by the time I make it to Japan. And here we go. Saw it on stage.
Cathy Cat had a big old experience, which is wonderful.
It was so good. And again, all the characters stayed amazingly in characters. Each Sailor Guardian was perfect. The bad guys, perfect. Everyone stayed in character up down to a notch, and that made it such a great experience.
Good job. A musical Cathy Cat approves.
Yes, definitely. And that inspired me to, do the Sailor Moon musical when I did it in Germany. So all of that, it came together in the best way possible.
Worked out well for everyone.
Thank you for letting me talk about that for a moment.
My pleasure. No worries.
Thank you for listening, guys.
So some big old examples of this. Obviously, Sailor Moon. We just heard all about that.
Yay.
The Prince of Tennis musical series, Tenny Mew, as it's called. Tennis musical. Tenny Mew. Tenny Mew. Musicato. Over 15 years of continuous productions with various casts, multiple casts.
So
Pretty
there's
impressive.
generally generations in these musicals that they go through. Like I said, there's the first generation of Sailor Moon musicals, second, third, and so on. And some of those, sometimes, in the case of Sailor Moon, will sometimes be adapted by idols. So we had the Nogizaka 46 Sailor Moon musical
You were banging
version.
on about how great it was.
Yeah, that one was actually, I didn't want to love it because I was like, musicals should be left up to the musical people and not to the idols. I was wrong. I am sorry. I was wrong. Nogizaka version was fun. And again, it was live streamed worldwide. I think that kind of laid down the groundwork now for the Sailor Moon musical to go all around the world. I'm talking really fast because
You're clearly
excited.
emotionally stimulated by this topic.
I mean, that's literally the origin of Cathy Cat. Cathy Cat first started on stages as a Sailor Moon musical performer. So for me, it's good to, talk about that today and see it on stage this year. It was so good in the UK.
We'll just call you Cathy Moon from this moment onwards.
Yay! Token Nambu, by the way, just is another musical that's very popular, especially with the ladies.
Stick with the ladies. A bunch of
Very, very.
boys play a bunch of swords that come to life in this live action stage and TV show.
That boiled it down to the very basics, but yes, it's
A bunch of swords are represented in this story. They're played by a bunch of boys in the musical.
it's a bit confusing.
Boys, not even boys and swords. Boys
So-
are swords.
Existing samurai swords who are like legendary swords become gijinka, so humanization, and they turn into hot boys. And that obviously was so popular that they also had a musical of that. Huge among female fans. One recent thing that's having a second wind recently is the Ace Attorney, Gyakuten Saiban.
Ace Attorney.
They actually have several, again, over many years, they had several theater performances. There was no singing or dancing, or maybe in between in the interludes a little bit, but that was not the main focus of it. That's recently become a little bit more popular. Some people have unearthed it.
Wait. There's no singing or dancing, so it's just a theater production.
It's literally just a theater production.
Right, I see.
But what they, for example, for that one did is to get the fans a little bit involved is they have instead of chanting along or stuff, they will start in the audience and pretend they're members who going to watch the theater performance, and then obviously murder happens or something similar happens, and then they try to solve it. Or at the end, they will all say at the same time, "Objection!" for a photo. So that's pretty fun. So that's in the plus part after the show.
Awesome. We then had Hypnosis Mike Division Rap Battle.
So it's nothing like Magic Mike.
Nah,
it's
unrelated.
Hypnosis Mike
this
MIC.
This kind of mic. Microphone.
So that's different because it's 2.5, but also not. It's more voice actors. They have their anime parts, but there's no real anime to it. It's more focuses on the voice actors who perform live concerts, but in the character of the anime characters. And there's DJ sets and rap battles between the different divisions. There's a Shibuya division, there's a Shinjuku division. They have characters made for them. The voice actors have character made for them, and then they try to be in character.
Oh, so it's reverse engineered. You start with the voice actor, and then they built the anime and the characters from the voice actor.
I think that's how it is. Yeah. So it's literally to promote the voice actors at the same time in a way as well. So
Well, then you can't cycle generations, can you? Because it has to be this voice actor.
it has to be that voice actor.
Oh, Shiro has something to say.
So the actual actor will play the character in the 2.5D version, but the original contents was focusing on voice actors. So it's a voice actor centric, and then they adapt that into 2.5D musical. So now actual actor is playing the character outside. It's not instead of actual voice actors.
Wow, isn't that an entire
That's a
circle
whole
of life,
looping
isn't it?
round.
Wow,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
in the end, I heard, and it's obvious that like Japanese voice actors are some of the best in the world, and they have to not just voice act well nowadays. They have to look good, and they have to like sing and dance now
Yeah,
too.
they've gotta
So it's
be
like
idols.
plus.
It really is. Yeah, you got to be a, what used to be called a triple threat, I suppose, in the theater world of singer, actor, dancer. You need to be that and also voice actor and cute and cosplay. You have to be all the things at once.
all the things at once in order, but again, that brings in a lot of fandom, like very, very dedicated fans.
Yeah, and you know what? Also, it's, it's good. People are working hard, developing a whole lot of parallel skills. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that is a different section of 2.5, I guess. But if you think about it, if you have a anime that you maybe might actually watch with an English dub, because there's good English dub out there, and then that person who dubbed can also sing and dance, how awesome is that? It makes you appreciate people's skills even more.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, Cathy Cat. Bless you.
Yeah, there we go. Just a quick again. Sailor Moon Super Life is now going all around the world. They're Japan, London, Washington D.C. is next. I think
Washington.
Paris. They were in Paris as well.
Cathy.
So that it captures hearts everywhere all around the world. It's nice to see that anime that you used to watch as a kid now on stage and actually people performing it. It's great.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Naruto, of course. That's a big one. Naruto. I'll tell you what. We watched some videos from the musical of Naruto before we did this. That's a big old budget production.
High production quality. They
yeah.
literally, you can also tell over the years, like Sailor Moon, but also like Prince of Tennis, but also Naruto. Like they're really scaling it up nowadays with like special effects and fights on stage and all of these
Yeah,
things.
it's tremendous. It just, every single one of these actors, I'm like, hair and makeup would have been a nightmare before every one of these shows. Just, you would have been in that chair for 3 hours or something.
Yeah, working at it.
Every show.
I mean, also for the Sailor Moon one, they have a meet and greet for like, if you pay like a premiere ticket, you have a meet and greet and you like quickly can see them. You can't really stop and take a picture, but you can walk past them and get like a high five from them.
Oh, wow, really?
And they will still try to be in character, and even close up, they look flawless.
Oh, yeah?
Like I did the high five thing, walking past them and just waving, and you were allowed to film that while you're doing that. They all look flawless.
Really?
Like they were so in character. That's why I have a quick moment to probably fresh up their makeup and just making sure that any items that might have fallen off us like all attached to the outfit. It was fantastic. So
That's amazing.
good stuff.
Man. Good job.
So there might be some accidents on stage.
Yeah, well, these things happen, don't they? We all know live performance.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of things happen.
And we are not supposed to break character.
Yeah, you're not. That's right.
So what you gonna do?
What you going to do? You're going to figure it out in character, aren't
Here
you?
are some legendary moments, apparently. So, Sengoku Basara stage, there was the cape snag incident that got so popular that it actually brought more fans to it.
Yeah, so during a fast-paced sword battle, a cape that was worn by Date Masamune got caught on a prop pillar.
So he's stuck now. What
Stuck.
is he gonna do?
So what he does, he makes eye contact with Sanada Yukimura, who was opposite on stage, and they both mutually improvised fight choreography to spin him out of his snag cape problem. And the crowd went bananas. They're like, that was amazing. And then that choreography then got put into the show, and then they did it every show.
And that's like a lot of fans who will watch it once. They love it so much they want to see it again. So, you go like, hold on a second, that wasn't in the first one. And there you go. A legend is born.
Amazing.
And next one was for Haikyuu, the volleyball one, Tanaka's Headband Crisis.
Tell us about the headband crisis.
2021, apparently, the dumpster battle.
Dumpster battle.
So the actor Ryo Honda had his headband slip over his eyes during a very crucial scene. What do? You have to stay in character. So without missing a beat, he incorporated that into his character, over-the-top personality shouting, "Who turned on the lights?" Mid-dialogue, he switched. Smart. The audience laughed, and the line was so well received, it was reused in later encore shows. So
Good
that's
for him,
how
man.
you do it. That's
for
how
him.
you do it. Good acting. Good
That's
acting.
awesome. We had the curtain call chaos. So a lot of the time in the shows, in the 2.5 dimensional shows, the show is kind of half show and also half fan service. So during Hypnosis Mike ruled the stage, actors started freestyle rapping based on random shouts from the audience.
You mean how happy would you
impressive.
be if you like shouted something to your like star on stage and he incorporated that into his rap battle? It's
very impressive.
You'd be like smitten like a kitten for the end of the universe.
Very impressive. One fan yelled out, "I love you, Ramuda," and the actor who was rapping this, he replied in verse, "Oh, you love me, do you? Prove it. Buy everything at the merchandise table." And that night, merchandise sold out.
It's
Amazing.
sold out.
Amazing.
Yep. And same thing with the Sailor Moon one. It was like all the extra dances, and you were allowed to use your glow sticks. You were allowed to, sing along if you want to. You're allowed to film. In the, Phoenix Wright, it was like objection. Everyone does it at the same time. They do like a little bit of a talk on stage, that kind of stuff. So
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Works.
Pretty amazing.
It's a little bit of extra. It's like, the character you loved is kind of, they stepped out of the screen. And exist for you in the form of theater for a little bit.
And so how did this malarkey get so popular, Cathy Cat?
So yeah, it feels like the favorite was, like I said, the character is stepping off the page. The sword fights, the gestures, the staying in character, the anime style expressions, the anime style lines that you like love them saying. They're like, oh my God, he said my favorite line or she said my favorite line. It's there, right? It's like, it's 2D, but that brings it out of the anime and it exists as a person for that amount of time of the show.
Very impressive. And there's also the element of emotional catharsis and safe escapism.
Apparently, yeah. A lot of fans say like that the content helps them cope with like stress. It's like a nice relief.
That's one of the interesting things about working in entertainment, isn't it? In that when it comes down to it, that's really the crux of your job. Just get people out of their actual life and help them just deal with it.
Yeah, for a moment, just forget all your troubles and have some fun and laugh. And I think also in Japanese, like if you go to watch a cinema performance, generally people are very quiet. People don't go woo and yay, and there's
don't laugh. No one laughs in the cinema.
No, yeah, there's no laughing. There's no chicken jockey and that kind of stuff. You don't have that in Japan. People are quiet. But in theaters, it's a bit different. There are areas where you're allowed to say things. There are areas where they say you're allowed to sing along, you're allowed to please clap, or you're allowed to bring out the glow stick. And it becomes in that moment a communal experience. And I think a lot of people crave that. So it makes a lot of people happy to actually like laugh about their favorite character with people around them, or swing their glow sticks and stuff like that. So that can be like super stress relieving as well.
Yeah, which is lovely. It creates a lot of hope,
yeah,
especially for the young.
And again, it's like, it creates a sense of community. And afterwards, there's also sometimes at the goods stand, there might be goods that, they're wrapped and you don't know which character you're getting. So it might actually facilitate you to like maybe talk with another person. That is not always allowed, but in some venues it's allowed that you go like, hey, I have this character twice. Would you like to trade it? And then you have like someone going like, oh my God, I love this character too. I love your bag. You have like this badges of this character. It brings the community to the people as well.
Yeah, that's right. And some fans describe attending a 2.5D show as emotional therapy. So it's a place to cry and laugh and be with others who get it.
And there's an unspoken etiquette, like with all kind of Japanese performances, I feel at this point. Pen like colors, certain chants, emotional reactions to the character's death or plot moments. So the character, is there and, for a moment they perform for you.
Yeah, you don't want to turn up uninitiated with all that, do you? You don't want to turn up and do something you're not meant to do at the inappropriate time or something.
I guess like when I went to watch the Sailor Moon musical for the very first time, like I didn't know the rules. And when people are allowed to bring out glow sticks, it seems like everyone around me, like it was an other musical, like suddenly everyone did something in the bonus area and I was like, whoa, what's going on? I didn't know. They didn't quite announce it. What is this? Like, I'm not prepared for this, but it's fun because you're just like, okay, well, if you're having fun, I'm having fun. Okay, I'll remember this for the future. It's fine if you don't know it. No one's going to diss you if you don't know it. As long as you like don't do a chicken jockey thing in the theater, you're fine.
And of course, there is also the idol factor, which involves audience members falling in love with the actors.
Because maybe they already love the anime character and they're just like, I know that this boy is never going to be real, but then he kind of is.
That's right.
He's on stage.
He's
not
real.
just anime boy. He's not anime boy and he does the same lines that you might love. And he maybe has like the same story that you love. So I can understand why people start crashing a little bit.
Yeah, so cast members become idols themselves. And the performers blur the lines between the character and the real person. So they post selfies in costume, they speak in character at events, and they often become the character in the minds of the fans.
Yeah, I assume some of them also will have like a separate, for example, Instagram account for what they do.
You'd hope so.
And then a separate account for the character that they are.
Yeah,
you have that apparently sometimes with I heard that with One Piece performances that happened in Universal Japan. I think I might be wrong with that, but I heard like that people, they kind of separate that. Like this is the actor and that's the actor acting as my favorite character. And then like it has to be
that's
seen
good.
as a little bit separate.
That's
thing.
good. I can get behind that. Yeah, keep that kayfabe.
Yeah, just
Yeah, and then some fans even will graduate with the actors. So when an actor retires from playing a role, the fans of that actor in that role will say, I'm done, and they won't be back for the next season.
yeah, because they love them so much that they're like, okay, well, if they're gone, then I'm gone too.
I am out of here.
General goods that you can get or swag that you can get. So, for example, for the Sailor Moon one, it was pretty simple, but we kept towards abroad. You had posters, you had t-shirts, you had tote bags, you had the pen lights, of course, and then you have, and that's I think a very Japanese specific thing. You don't really get that for like normal theater. You get like little photos of that character in like, you know, and then you can see is it the A set or the B set. Sometimes these musicals have like A set as different actors than the B set. So you can go, hey, I know, like today I watched the A set. I want to have the A set Sailor Moon. And then, or maybe you watch the B set and you want to have the B set Jupiter. So you can kind of like collect photos of the actors in cosplay. So they're not cosplayers, but cosplay is part of the whole performance.
Oh, I'm sorry. The set, as in the photo set.
The
I
photo
thought you were
set.
talking about different cast, as in one musical having like, you know, different actors who did at a different time. I totally misunderstood what you're talking about.
Ah, yeah.
So
You get like a photo set of Sailor Moon or a photo set of, you know, Sailor Jupiter if you wanted to. So you can have that as a photo, maybe put that up on your wall. Sometimes they might be signed. In that case, they were not signed. And that people collect them again like idol photos. You know, they collect them, maybe put them in the folder and remember, oh, that was a great performance. Sometimes they have things like keychains, which are wrapped in silver. So you can't see who you're getting. So what you're then doing is you unbox it. Like these are can badges. Like badges are usually a common one. And then you go like, oh, I have this one twice. Can I change with you? Or I saw that you got this one. Can we trade? And that, you know, again, communication is key in that one.
Well, this has been good.
That has been fantastic. I think if you have an anime you love and they're doing a musical while you're in Japan, fantastic. I can highly recommend it. It's a great day out. It's great performance, music. What? There's nothing not to like.
What's an anime you would like to see on the stage?
Apart from Sailor Moon? I would go for something like Kodomo no Omocha, but that no one really knows that. So I don't think that's going to happen. But in that case, maybe another magical girl show because the costumes would look great. Utena has, I think, should have a musical. At least we did with our musical group. We did Utena. Utena. It's like big dresses and, you know, kinds of fancy battles on stage. We did that with our musical group. So we did actually have like battles on stage and the big dresses and all of that. So that was fun. I think that's a very good one to adapt. There are certain animes that are suited better to be adapted than others. Kodomo no Omocha would not be suited to adapt because it's literally like a story, like a slice of life kind of thing. But something like Utena or Magical Girls, I think that's with big costumes would look great on stage.
We were asking Shiori, there was the anime about the boys in the pool. What's it called?
Free?
Yeah, Free. We're asking why isn't that a musical? And straight up, the logistics. How are you going to do all that underwater stuff?
Yeah, it's going to look a bit silly if they all pretend to swim on stage. Good point.
Yeah. So that's hard.
I think that's what a good reoccurring theme is. Either it's something big and epic like Sailor Moon with like everyone on stage in flashy costumes, or let's be honest, it's kind of hot boys on stage. That, you know, the theater goers tend to be females.
Actually, yeah, there's a lot of female theater goers, eh?
Yeah, so it kind of caters towards the audience. It's more of a female audience, not exclusively, but it's more catered towards that audience as well. And they're starting to mix things now. So, for example, they brought in someone from Takarazuka, where we have talked about Takarazuka.
Spoke about that on the show, yep.
For a lot of Sailor Moon musicals, they brought in someone for Takarazuka to bring in that fandom on top of the Sailor Moon fandom. Or, again, they're fusing it with idols, and then they had Nogizaka, which is an idol group, perform Sailor Moon with different songs in a different way. So a lot of crossovers are starting to happen now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other cool musicals come out soon. I mean, Black Butler I heard was great. What would you guys love to see as a musical? Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, stick another thingamajig. What anime, the musical, do you want to see?
I mean, literally, we're having now Minecraft the movie. Would you watch a Minecraft the musical? If so, let us know.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below. And we'll see you next time for another 2.5 world dimension. Dimension, not world. 2.5 dimension entering installment of
Cat with Beard.
Goodbye.